If you are referring to the present state of affairs in Kerala, I'm afraid I won't be able to identify myself with any of them. The brands which are taken up by the organizations are such that no youth with a modern understanding of the happenings around the world will be able to identify himself. I think they should stop right now, because the organizations are fighting like wolves on the open street, and the common man is suffering like a sheep. They should stop all kinds of fighting right now. A major part of religious organizations in Keralite Islam today is focused on how to crush the other organization. They are not connected with the larger community, and the community's interests are at stake. They are only focused on how to build their network. They are well funded and they are well organized, yet they are not concerned with the problems of the community at large. Today's religious activism of these organizations in Keralite Islam is focused probably on a few areas. The first one, of course, they are focused on the event management. They conduct huge conferences, inviting guests from sometimes abroad India, only to highlight their organizational strength. The second one is fundraising campaigns. They go to the out to the community. They meet business leaders, they meet the political leaders, and raise funds so much that millions are sometimes spent on their events and organizational activities. The third one is media activism, but the focus of the media activism is only on personal slandering or how to criticize the other organizations. They are not picking up the larger issues of the community, making awareness of these social issues. There is so much of social issues, including alcoholism, which is growing very crucially in the Muslim community in Kerala, but none of these organizations are focusing on these social evils or how to eliminate these evils from the society. The other thing they do is the flexing their organizational muscles, the numbers during the times of elections. In the battle of ballots, what they do is they approach politicians, or politicians approach them, and these organizations gave guarantees of so much votes for the political parties, which is not supposed to be the realm of these organizations. In Keralite Islam, the organizations have to focus on raising the spiritual awareness among people. Their job is not to intervene in politics or to challenge other political parties or threaten them or challenge them with the ballot power. And then, of course, they also run educational institutions, but these institutions, I say, are educational factories. There is no evaluation of the products from these organizations. After they graduate, there is no self-evaluation, there is no performance evaluation, there is no quality check on the system, the education system prevailing in these factories. I feel Keralite Islam is living in a very dangerous comfort zone. Despite the centuries-old traditions, which is very superb, very unique to Keralite Islam, it has not been able to produce notable figures who are recognized at a global level in the world of Islam. I am referring to those names which we find from the cradles of Muslim civilization, like Iraq, like Syria, Turkey, the Persian. Kerala has not been able to carve a distinct position for itself in the world of Islamic arts. despite claim to have begun right during the prophetic era. If you say that is the case of past, the present isn't encouraging either, because despite a lineup of incredible Islamic learning centers in Keralite Islam, we do not have a global icon or spokesman to showcase before the international community. Yes, this is a voice, the international voice of Keralite Islam. And I personally feel that the religious organizations, the infighting between the organizations, has played a major role in not being able to contribute a powerful voice, a powerful figure from the Keralite Islam. However, if my observations of social media for the past 4 to 5 years are correct, then I say the Keralite Muslim youths are heavily looking up to international Muslim scholars and orators like Hamza Yusuf and Tariq Ramadan for the spiritual kick, because Keralite Islam has not been able to produce a figure so powerful enough to influence the present youth. These religious outfits have not been able to produce a panacea for the paranoia surrounding the community at large. There have been so many issues where youths have looked up to somebody for a proper interpretation of the events happening, but sadly Keralite Islam has not been able to deliver the result. As an occasional observer of Keralite Islam, I have made some observations which I feel require the intervention of the leadership, both at the political and religious front. The first one, of course, is regarding the scholarship of women, the religious scholarship of the ladies in Keralite Islam. Although both boys and girls are enrolled in Arabic colleges and madrasas in Keralite Islam, which are the learning centers of Islamic learning, there is an inherent hesitation to accept female scholars in Keralite Islam. The society, which is patriarchal in nature, is not able to accept or allow a female voice to rise in the scholarship of Keralite Islam. Now, there are so many issues pertaining to specifically to women. However, everyone have to depend on a few set of male scholars to get a reply for their problems. The next point I want to share with you is regarding the museums. Now, Keralite Islam may be a centuries old intellectual heavyweight with tons of cultural and historic data. There is so much of legacy in Keralite Islam, no doubt. However, a passionate student of history cannot find a systematic archive of the artifacts or the manuscripts of Keralite Islam. There is absolutely no systematic and organized setup to explore and to understand. If you want to browse through the records, the ancient records of Keralite Islam, I'm afraid there has been almost zero attempt to archive them and to showcase them for who are interested in studying about the Keralite Islam. And today, with the movement of men and women across the globe increasingly, we definitely need museums to showcase the ancient and the medieval history of a society for the people who are interested. And a related topic to this is the biographies of the past great men and women in Keralite Islam. Now, there have been, of course, so many luminaries in Keralite Islam, champions in both spiritual, in worldly sense, in politics, in social service. There have been great men and women, but it's a sad reality that none of their biographies have been preserved in a language which is understandable for the common man. the holy persons, also the saintly peoples, some of the biographies are there, but it is encrypted in folk songs in a way which is never accessible to common man. What we need is simple, concise presentation of biographies of the past men and women in Keralite Islam. This is very important to inspire the present, so that the Keralite Islam, the Muslims there, can develop a sense of pride and a belongingness to the roots of their own culture. The next is about art forms. Western Islam has produced nasheed singers and bands which are very popular around the world, which has not been the case with Keralite Islam. Now, Keralite Islam is much older than the Western Islam, but unfortunately, due to some barriers of culture or say language, Keralite Islam has not been able to showcase an international artist which belongs to this culture. Now, this has to be borne in mind both by the artists and the patrons who support them. We definitely need to develop art forms which could be presentable on the international Islamic level. There is also the case of historic tourism. Now, in recent times, we see that the Muslims in Kerala are increasingly traveling to other countries of the Islamic civilization, like say the Middle East, not just the Saudi Arabia, but many other countries in the Middle East, like Syria, like Egypt, Palestine, and they're also going to Turkey, Persia, to explore the past bygone Islamic civilizations. Now, at the same time, these people, the leadership, the organizations in Keralite Islam, are not making a similar effort to bring them to Keralite Islam in order to showcase the Islam's legacy in Kerala. Now, this can be done in a very simple way if we find a way to coordinate between the tour operators and these religious organizations, which can lead to a big success story, because there's lots of ancient history in Kerala related to Islam, which would be highly interesting to the Muslims outside Kerala. Keralite Islam also has a remarkable legacy of architecture. There's a mosque and so many other buildings which have a unique design, unique pattern in design when compared to the other parts of Islamic world. Now, just like we talked about the previous issue, these architectural designs have to be showcased to the international Islamic community. So, a unified effort by Muslim architects and religious organizations can definitely help achieve this. While Keralite Islam can boast of lots of religious institutions which the community patronizes as with charity and other philanthropic activities, these students hardly pay any fees. But what happens after they graduate from these institutions, they hardly look back to the community, except a very few of them. So, if we have a research and development wing developed by these religious organizations who run these institutions, we can selectively tap into the potential of these highly skilled graduates. They have lots of knowledge and lots of talents, and the community can definitely benefit out of them. Lastly, while Malayalam remains the most popular language of Keralite Islam, the people who live in predominantly Muslim dominated areas, they send their children to English medium schools, and we have a huge generation who are coming up learning this English language. If the religious organizations do not accept this reality, if they don't come into terms with this truth, I'm afraid the gap between the community and the religious organizations will definitely widen. So they have to gear up to face this situation. They have to upgrade the clergy to fulfill this gap. Now, I believe these fine tunes for the fine arts of Kerala can definitely help improve the situation. It may sound poetic, but the leaders with their intervention can make them pragmatic. Poets think, politicians implement. Jaihoon.com was my effort to share my intense experiences and interactions with Keralite Islam. It is a storehouse of my interactions with the leaders and also a few of my writings, my travel experiences, what I faced during the travels in Keralite Islam. Additionally, I had also published a book, The Cool Breeze from Hind, which is a mystical travelogue about the Arabian influence on Keralite Islam. I thank the cafe and its team for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.